Hey guys, Brad here with Custom Offsets. Got another episode of Lifts and Levels. This is another Mcgaughys kit for you here. We're starting to see these roll through here regularly now, and for good reason. It's because they're one of the only ones out there that make a 7 to 9 inch adjustable kit. This one is for 2014 to 2018 Chevrolet and GMC 1500 pickup trucks. This is the basic Mcgaughys kit, and what that is, I'll explain shortly. We get a lot of questions on that. The basic kit is going to be, as you'll see here, the cross member is just a little more plain than the premium kit. They don't have any of the stainless inserts and the Mcgaughys badge or anything like that. So you just get the plain Jane black cross members, and then for the compression struts you get the standard tubular compression struts, not the fancy box ones. And really that's pretty much it. There's no skid plates for the front diff when it gets dropped down too. That's another thing, I almost forgot that. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same, same knuckles, same blocks, same construction quality. The struts are the same. All the kits have the 7 to 9 inch adjustable struts, and we'll talk about that next. So as you can see here, the struts have these 3 different grooves in them, and you can pretty much set where you want your spring height to be, or the spring bucket height, and that changes the preload on the spring, which then in turn will lift the vehicle. If you set it all the way to the bottom here, 7 inches, the ring in the middle would be 8 inches, and then the top ring is to ride it at 9 inches. When you do that, it's fine. Mcgaughys does recommend that you get their new upper control arms if you're going to run it at 9 inches, and that's, as you can see here, with this customer bought, these are an additional option that will be purchased and can be purchased right from the drop downs on our site. It's also recommended, it's not really recommended, I guess it depends how you want to do it, but at 7 inches. All right, so what I was saying is this kit's pretty much designed to be level at 7 inches, meaning the rear blocks, as you can see here, these are a nice fabricated rear block, not a cast block. This is a 5-inch block, so you're going to be lifting the rear of the truck 5 inches over factory. They sit about 2 inches taller in the back, 2.5-ish. So when you install these blocks and the truck is at 7 inches up front, it'll sit pretty much level. So when you go to 9 inches, Mcgaughys sells a couple options. They sell an add-a-leaf that you would add to the rear of the truck to lift it up, and then at 9 inches the truck will sit level front to rear. This customer did not buy the add-a-leaves, he's just going to run the block, so I'm guessing he's going for the squatted look. And so that's what I had to say about that. Running through the rest of the components, obviously we got the new Mcgaughys knuckles here, which are a nice heavy-duty knuckle forged, and then the Mcgaughys cross members onto those. Something different about Mcgaughys cross members from other brands out there is these are a true 7-inch drop cross member. So the distance that the control arms is dropped is 7 inches. The distance that the front differential is dropped is 7 inches. And what that does is at 7 inches, all you have completely flat angles, which is super nice. Not many other companies out there do that. Let's see, you got your compression struts, those tie the front and rear cross members to the frame. Sway bar drop brackets here, as I mentioned, the differential drop brackets. Another nice thing about the Mcgaughys kit is the diff is dropped so much that you actually don't have to cut the front differential like you do on a lot of the other 6 or 4 inch kits, because those diffs aren't dropped as much and they actually will interfere with the steering rack. So you have to cut the differential, but not on the Mcgaughys kit, so just a little bit easier on the install. Obviously we talked about our new control arms, and then you'll see here Mcgaughys gives you these nice machined aluminum CV axle spacers, and you can see they're only about 1 inch thick, and that's because at 7 inches there's no track width increase on the front of the truck. But when you go up to 9 inches, there's about 1 inch, they say about 3/4 to 1 inch of track width increase at 9 inches, but at 7 you'll have 0 track width increase, so it'll be just like factory, which is nice. You don't find that very often. They also do give you new tie rod ends as well, Mcgaughys does, so you don't have to cut the factory tie rods or worry about that. I think that's really pretty much it here for the kit. The only other thing worth noting maybe is the one thing that I'm not a fan of on the Mcgaughys kit is the U-bolts. As you can see, they're just a raw finish. I don't know, it's just kind of not the most ideal situation because the U-bolts will corrode quite fastly, especially here in this state. They'll probably be rusted apart in about a year because we live in a terrible state. But that's pretty much it. 7-inch Mcgaughys kit, 7 to 9 inch Mcgaughys kit. is how everyone calls it. We're gonna go ahead and get that installed now, and then we'll check back later. All right, guys, we got the 7 to 9 inch Mcgaughys kit on the truck here installed, and it is set at 9 inches right now. We're just gonna run through the kits as they are, or sorry, the components as they are installed here. Obviously, we've got our new knuckles here. You'll notice the new upper control arms, which we opted for, or the customer opted for in this case, because he's gonna be running the front at 9 inches, and that's what Mcgaughys recommends when you run them at 9, is to go with their upper control arms. You can see the new tie rod ends here, which is a nice little option, so you're not messing with cutting the old ones off or anything like that. One thing I don't really, not that crazy about, but I mean most kits do it too, is no new brake lines here. There's just an extension, which it works. I mean there's plenty of slack in it, but it'd be nice obviously if they included a new stainless line, braided line. We got the sway bar drop brackets here, lower control arm drop cross members, and you can see the compression struts or kicker braces, whatever you want to call them here. This is the basic kit, so you get the tubular ones. The premium kit has the boxed ones with the cutouts in them. It looks a little cooler. That's about it. They both do the same purpose. And then we got the CD axle spacers here. You'll see it's about a 1 inch machined piece of aluminum, which is nice because at 7 inches there's pretty much no track width increase, as I mentioned before, which is really rare on these GM kits. Another thing to note is the basic kit, as you can see, has no differential skid plate. So the differential is just hanging out here in the open, and that's what you get with the basic kit. Once again, it's probably never going to cause an issue. No one really off-roads these trucks anyway. It's more so just for the looks, obviously. And then, oh yeah, I guess I forgot to mention the differential drop here as well. As you can see, full 7 inches. So no cutting of the diff because it drops it so far that it clears the steering rack here. You can see on the electric steering racks, the motor usually gets in the way when the diff is only dropped down about 4.5 inches, like most 6 inch kits. But with the 7 inch kit, you don't have to do any cutting because of that. Moving on to the back, as I mentioned before, the back's gonna be at 7 inches. Mcgaughys does offer an add-a-leaf, which will lift the rear up about another 1.5 to 2 inches to be level when you have the truck set at 9 inches up front. So this one's gonna have a little bit of a lean to it. And then we got the blocks in the back here, the new U-bolts, and then the new shocks as well. And then really that's pretty much it. Like always, you kind of move around the factory e-brake cables, so there's slack in them. And then there is a relocation bracket as well, I believe here, or they just have you move the factory bracket for the rear brake lines as well. And really that's about it for the old Mcgaughys kit. That's the 7 to 9 inch kit for 2014 to 2018 Chevrolet GMC 1500 4-wheel drive. They do have 2-wheel drive version as well. Peace.